Welcome back to another episode of Our Community. I'm your host, Alfredo Diamond. I'm here with a special guest today, co-president, B&F Plastics, Justin Scheiben. Justin, welcome.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's a pleasure. I'm so excited to have you here. I got some questions I've always wanted to ask you, and
Sure.
looking forward to sharing it now on this podcast. So awesome, man. Let's just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Born and raised here in Richmond, Indiana. I'm a Red Devil.
Yeah.
Went off to college, went to Manchester College for 4 years, and then came back here. My wife and I did the same, Jody. Came back here and got into, our careers, got started, got married. We have 2 kids, Carson and Caitlin. They're both going to Seton Catholic here in Richmond, Indiana right now. And just sort of, establish ourselves back here in Richmond.
Now, at Manchester, what did you major in there?
So, business and accounting.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then what brought you back to this area?
So, just being from here, coming back to Richmond holds a special place in my heart. Family's here, that's a big thing. And just to be a part of this community, we really love and enjoy being back here in Richmond.
Okay. What was it like off at Manchester? Have you noticed any resemblance in that area versus our area?
So North Manchester, Indiana reminds me of like an Oxford, Ohio, real small town, college town. So it really couldn't compare it to, I guess you can consider Richmond a bigger city than there. So it was more rural. Not a lot of things to do. If you wanted to do anything, you had to go to Fort Wayne or something like that. But small school, small town feel. So it was nice.
So when you came back, what were you into? I mean, what did you go right into the workforce? I mean, what did you do?
So I had started a lawn and landscaping service back as soon as I could start driving, and had family members sort of run that while I was away. And then I always had a summer job when I came back. And actually I kept that lawn business for almost 15 years. So that brought me back, got me started. I could get a paycheck right out of college. Right. And then I got into some sales, and actually started at B&F Plastics doing sales, out of college. Yeah. So I'm there. I, worked there for a short stint and then got out and got in, I dabbled in some restaurants, got into law enforcement for a short period of time for 3 years, and then actually had the opportunity to go back to B&F Plastics.
So, we got something in common. I'm really passionate about sales. I did not know that you were in sales. And you spent how long in sales?
So, gosh, I've been in sales since I've been out of college.
Wow.
Pretty much.
So there was already a connection there with B&F Plastics. I was trying to put all that together. Okay. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So when you think about our community, what are a couple of your favorite things about this community that attracted you?
So it's small enough, but big enough, if that makes sense. Right.
Okay.
I can tell you, I had a customer in this week and he's from Atlanta, Georgia, and I pick him up. It's a 30-minute drive from the Dayton airport, right? We go through the east side of town, and he's just looking around. He's like, gosh, you got everything you guys need here, right? And he's asking me the population, how big, and we're driving through the different neighborhoods and the areas, just showing him around. And I get to my office, and he's looking. I said, I can walk, go get my hair cut. I have all these, lunch options I can walk to. And he was asking me how long it takes to get everywhere. I said, 10 minutes. He said, so you have all of this 10 minutes from your office?
Yeah.
I said, absolutely. Yeah. I said, that's what I love about this small town.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I'm showing clients and meeting clients that want to relocate here and things like that, this one of the things people don't realize is I call it like a hub location.
Yeah.
You can live here, take advantage of our lower property taxes, the amenities we do have here, but you're only 45 minutes from Dayton, hour from Indy, hour and 15 from Cincinnati. You can have that larger city lifestyle and still come back here and enjoy this.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like it's a very attractive location.
Yeah. So, you think about this area. So a couple of things, like, do you have any favorite spots you like to go to? Like if you could talk to someone that's thinking about moving here, like your ideal day, you get off work, what you might do for dinner or a date or something like that. What would you do?
Well, I think you have Tons of options. It depends on, if you want to go to a sports bar or you want to go, fine Italian or a little bit more upscale restaurant. You have all of those options here, right?
Yeah.
Or if you just want to hit a normal chain, we have multiple restaurant franchise chains around here. There's a lot to do. There's, multiple gym options, multiple golf courses, for this small town. You have Earlham College here. You have IU East. Yeah. You have Ivy Tech. I mean, a lot of small towns don't have all these different options here.
Yeah.
And they're a gym.
Hey, you're making a great guess here. So you're segueing right into the next segment here, where I'm going to jump right into our Rose City Hot and Ready, Cold and Steady segment.
Sure.
We'll have a little bit of fun, Justin. And you've already mentioned several locations, but just for those out there, so how this works is kind of like just a little game. I'm going to just rattle off, like a topic, and you tell me what comes to mind first, or a few different options. And you tell me which one stands out to you, and talk about why.
Sure.
Okay. So the first one, we got several parks in this area. Which park comes to mind and why?
I grew up Glen Miller. When I was a kid, they had a zoo there.
Yeah.
So.
See? I remember
So
that.
I remember that.
We were young.
Very young.
Yeah.
So, that's the first park that would stick out in my mind. Definitely go there. It's peaceful. You can take your kids to the playground. You can rent out shelters. You can go hang out by the pond. There's tennis courts there. Just the scenery, being able to walk around and the history of it, right? It's just a really nice place to go, peaceful place to go.
Yeah, go for a run, or I don't know if you can fish there still or not, but you used to be able to fish in the pond and stuff. Yeah. So all right. So if you had a chance to get dinner, where would you go?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, you have so many different options. My kids love like Texas Roadhouse. I'm more of a, Italian gallows guy, Old Richmond Inn for fine dining.
Love both of them.
Red Front's the new popular spot. If you want to go watch games, that's been, sort of our go-tos.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm new at golfing and I suck, but I'm passionate. I love it. There's nothing like being out there and, it's just peaceful when you're with your friends and making some new connections and, maybe have a couple of beers, something like that. It's just, I'm falling in love with it.
Sure.
How long have you been in golfing?
Oh gosh. I try. How long have I been trying to golf? Yeah. Probably maybe 12, 13 years, something like that. Really picked up the club. I was more of a baseball, basketball, football guy growing up, but I have our son Carson is just ate up with golf. So
really?
Yeah, he plays a lot and he's already beating me. So which doesn't say a lot, but it does for a 13-year-old kid.
So we got several golf courses here. So which one comes to mind for you?
So, we play a lot at the Elks and Forest Hills Country Club. So, I consider the Elks, if you want a game, you go out there. They have, a lot of play out there. You can go out there with your buddies. It's a little bit more wide open. It's long, but definitely go out there and have a good time. They have a nice place to hang out. And then, if you want a challenge, you go to Forest Hills. Yeah. If you definitely want a challenge. But, the course was built in 1927 at Forest Hills. And so, there's a lot of trees and a lot of hills, right? So it's but it makes it fun and interesting. So I would say, I play there a lot and we go up to Highland. Yeah. Highland's a nice place. It's really grown.
We got several. Man, how many? You got Cambridge City, Liberty. Yep. I mean, you got 5 or 6 golf courses within 20, 30 minutes.
Exactly. Really. Yeah. So, lots of options around here.
Are you into pizza? I'm a big pizza guy, as you can tell. Do you eat pizza?
Oh,
so
yeah.
What would you recommend for a good pizza?
Oh, gosh. You got to go with Mercurio's.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our go-to spot. And then, right up there with Pizza King. Yeah. You can't go wrong with Pizza King. Everyone that leaves town always comes back and goes, we have relatives in Florida who every time they come back, we go straight to Claire's Pizza King.
I had an uncle that would freeze them and ship them back to Texas. He had to have his Pizza King.
Sure.
We've got several colleges around here. You think of Earlham, Ivy Tech, IU East. Are you partial or any one of those come to mind to you?
Well, my wife's a graduate of Earlham. She went off to Albion for a couple of years and then came back and finished her degree at Earlham. So, we're still involved with some alumni events and certain things there. IU East, I got some dual credit when I was in high school there. So I went there for, a semester. And then Ivy Tech, we've been fully involved with, Chad Bolser up there, and Brady Jackson. Yeah, they get us involved up there, and we just love what they're doing. And, being Ivy Tech and what we do at B&F, we can work together on certain things and certain projects. And so that's really helped out a lot.
So what are a couple of projects or one in particular you're working on right now that you could share with us?
So just within our organization, we're in the process of just updating all of our equipment, trying to get the most efficiency out of what we have right now. We're looking at, purchasing some new equipment to get into some newer markets.
Okay.
So that's exciting, right? And maybe expand our business a little bit. But first things first is we're just trying to be the most efficient with what we have right now. We have 120 employees.
Wow.
And we're running 3 shifts, most of those lines 7 days a week right now.
Do you have any positions open now?
So we do, and it's kind of all over the board. I'd say a few years ago we were really struggling, but I feel like we have a really good core of people right now, a great team. And so we've been very fortunate in that aspect.
Now I have an idea, but I want to know from you, like what exactly is B&F and what do they do there?
So sure. We started in the mid 80s as a sign and graphics company.
Okay.
And like your real estate signs and things like that. And then slowly over time got into the extrusion business, where we started doing about 15% of our business is your truck mud flaps that you see going down the road on semis.
Okay.
So yeah, we make them out of rubber and plastic. And then we also, we hot stamp the company logos on the flaps as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And so is there like stiff regulations you got to work within? How is that stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty standard. Yeah, it's industry wide. And then we're also into, what's nice about us is we don't have all of our eggs in one basket. We're pretty spread out in the different markets, whether it's RV, automotive. We sell into retail for, wall paneling and things like that. We sell to, guys who are out there just routing parts out, thermoforming parts. We sell a lot through distribution throughout the country. So we have hundreds and hundreds of customers that are selling our sheet, stocking our sheet. And it's just a business that we've continued to grow over the years.
Wow. And I look forward to continue seeing you grow. You're doing some amazing things. I know you got a partnership and working with Kevin in there with marketing and website design, things like that. It's just so cool to see that. I'm so cool to see that for you, man. You've always been a solid dude with me, cool dude, man.
I always got along. I was just thinking, I said, gosh, we probably go back to middle school.
Yeah. Always, just seeing where you are, and I think I'm probably a year older than you. And just, it's inspiring, man. So I'm very proud of you. Just want you to know that.
Well, thank you. Same back to you.
Thank you, bro. And so I'm excited. Like I can't wait any longer. So let's jump into that. So how did I see the connection now? You were in sales in your, prior role before at B&F. Did a couple other things, had an opportunity, I would imagine. How did this come about? Co-president, B&F Plastics.
So sure, yeah. When I went back to B&F Plastics approximately 13 years ago, I was really good friends with the new owner. He had bought the owner from the previous person, and so I got involved. It was tough for me I had just started a career in law enforcement for 3 years.
I remember that.
And he had an opportunity to purchase the company. We talked and, asked if I would come back and do sales again. And so I jumped right in. And then a few years later, I was slowly working my way up as far as getting some ownership stake into the company. And then unfortunate set of circumstances, he passed away a couple years ago. And then so Mike Hager and I bought the company from the estate. Wow.
So with the entrepreneur spirit that I have and, my aberrations where I want to go, I want to know. So, how much was this sale? How much did you have to raise? And are you okay with that? Like, I really want to know. Like,
it's a lot. Yeah,
where does this money come from?
I probably can't, get into the details of that. We had already been in the process of buying out the company.
Okay.
And then, so, we had a buy-sell agreement and things like that. So, with us, it was just a matter of, he knew the future of the company and knew that we were going to take it over eventually. Right. So when it all came about, it just made sense. We had established good relationships with our bankers, our attorneys, everything. So it was pretty cut and dry situation, unfortunate situation. Nothing that was planned or anything like that. But Mike and I, we've just grown the company in the last 13 years, probably 3 or 4 times from where it was. Wow. And it's just a matter of, and we always joke about it. Mike comes from the manufacturing side. I've come from the sales side. So we make a great team. Right. Yeah. And it's just because I don't know how to say no. And I always joke about that. If you were to call in and ask me, for something, I say yes. And then I take it to Mike in production and say, can we do this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, we got to figure it out. Right.
Right. We'll make it happen. Right.
And that seems to be kind of how we've grown our business. And that's what's nice. And like I said, being in so many different markets, say, automotive's down, it seems like another market just picks up and makes up for it. And that's where we've seen our growth and continued to, grow together, build together.
Wow. We talk about growth. We talk about some of your partnerships within the community and giving back. So what are there any specific organizations that B&F is, kind of taken to that they kind of help support? I mean,
sure. Yeah. We kind of dabble in a lot. Okay. We try to support anything and everything. I've really tried to focus on our employees and what they're involved with first. But we're a huge supporter of Girls Inc. here in town.
Okay. Shout out Girls Inc.
Yeah.
Shout out Ty.
They're doing a great job out, down there and everything that they're doing. And we love to, support what they're doing there. We're involved with the Blue Angel Fund, and the Blue Angel Fund's through Richmond Police Department. And so we raised money. John Meredith and I started this a few years ago to where we raise between $10,000 and $15,000 a year with a group of other business leaders to help officers when they're out in the field and they see a need, whether they're at a house or something or need to, get a hotel room for somebody. There's a checking account there that they can use funds from, whether it's feeding a family or doing anything that they see a need for out in the community, and they go through it, which is great. So every year we have raised money. We just recently, Todd Barker, who was longtime sheriff's deputy on Wayne County Sheriff's Department, is now at Indiana University Police Department. He called me and said, "Hey, I know you do a lot with police departments," and he said, "I know you love dogs, right?" So he said, "We're starting this therapy dog program at within Indiana University. Do you want to come up and meet Officer Scheiben and her canine therapy dog, Honey?" And so we went up there. Yeah. So we went up there and met, and I said, you know what, I'll get a group of business leaders again together. And we met at my office, and Officer Scheiben did a presentation for us. And so we raised just short, I think, $7,000 for her to help her program build to where eventually, IU East could have their own therapy dog.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
We're touching lives out there, so thank you.
IUPD thing.
So the more we get the word out on that program and, what she's doing, and I think it really helps. I mean, it just, her explaining the service calls and how much, the students and the staff benefit from just her being on the campuses, across the state, it has really been beneficial. And so that's a program that I think we want to get involved with and really help out. And I believe she's coming here February 14th.
Shout out to Kevin.
You'll learn a little bit more about her and what she's doing. So we're anxious to hear that and get the word out about her program.
I'm excited about that one. I think it's going to be a fun show as well. Thank you for that connection there too. So I want to backtrack a second. So the Blue Angel Fund, is there any examples that come to mind that you can kind of share, any stories where you're just like, man, this is why I'm a part. This is why I want our company to support this. Like, do you have any specific examples or stories that stick out to mind where, the funds went to work and helped our family?
Yeah. So I think it originally started when, with Officer John Lackey, who's retired now, he was on an accident scene where I believe a mom had passed away, and it was right before Christmas, and she had 4 or 5 kids. Right. And so they didn't have Christmas presents. So they took those funds and bought Christmas presents for all the kids because, they had just lost their mother in a horrible vehicle accident.
Special. Wow.
Yeah. And so, it comes around, and it's more about community policing as well. You see some kids out riding their bikes around the Dairy Queen, buy them an ice cream cone or something. It's just all about the community policing side of things.
Could you share a memorable moment or experience from your involvement in the community?
As far as, gosh, there's so many. Just being a part of this community and being involved, I try to make myself available or, interact with everyone, all kinds of organizations, whether it's different events or different outings and stuff. So I can't think of one that comes to mind specifically, but, you may be able to, you've probably been at some of those as well.
Do you have any advice you would give someone that's on the outside looking in, like they don't know where to start? Hey, I want to make a difference in the life of kids or a nonprofit. Any advice you would give somebody that they can jump in and help? Or
oh gosh, you have so many organizations, and I don't really want to name one specifically because they're all great. I mean, gosh, like I mentioned, Girls Inc. already, and the Boys and Girls Club, and everything that they're doing right now. In the community. And then you have, like Habitat, which is another great organization and what they're trying to do. And, Dan Gross over there now, and he's trying to build everything that's going on there. There's just so many nonprofits around here that are trying to do, Circle U Help Center. I mean, if you ever get a chance to take a tour down there, my goodness, to understand, how many people they are feeding on a daily basis. Wow. And, the different connections and, the donations that they receive, is huge in this community.
You're definitely involved in the community, and it shows. And your company support, the growth of your company, and some of the organizations you named. With all that in mind, and you think about our community, where would you like to see all this go or head in the next 5 years? Where can you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to continue to grow, and I think we need to figure out what our youth is interested in. Do we need to bring tech companies to town? Do we need to bring engineering companies to town? How can we keep our youth here in Richmond, Indiana? I think that's our first thing, right? Trying to figure out to where we can grow this population. You drive through this town. I mean, it's a gym, right? I mean, and everyone says, talks about what it used to be. Yeah. But we're continuing to grow it. If you look at the depot, if you look at downtown now, look at what we're doing and, the people that want to support it. And, I would just love to see this town continue to grow.
Right now, where things are headed, I'm put you on the spot here, Justin.
Yeah.
Okay. But everybody's in the hot seat here
Sure.
on this one. So when you think about our community, and if you could give it a report card, a letter grade, A through F, what letter grade would it be and why?
I'm not trying to call out any city officials or really get after anybody, because I think you could go, if you talk about, all the nonprofits and everyone that's involved in boards and stuff, you would go with an A, right? But then, if you want to talk construction or road closures or something, then you want to, take that down a little bit. No, I love the growth. Let's just say a B right now.
Okay.
If that's fair enough. There's opportunity to improve.
It's fair.
But it's not bad, right?
Yeah.
You're not right in the middle there.
Yeah. I love it. It's a very fair response. Yeah. So, wrapping up, Justin, and you've been great to have here today. So you think about, anyone that's your day-to-day life supporting you. Is there anyone out there that you want to give a shout out to, an organization, family, friend, coworker, staff member,
Definitely have to give a shout out to my family, my wife, Jody, and two kids, mentioned earlier, Carson and Caitlin. They keep us busy. Carson's involved with golf and basketball, as I mentioned, and then Caitlin's heavily involved in horses. So she rides quarter horses, so that keeps us busy on the weekend. Back to my wife, she's a fourth generation owner of her business, Dwyer Family Memorials.
Yeah, shout out Jody.
And so that's here in town. And then, my team at B&F, if it weren't for my whole team at B&F, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. I depend on a lot of people there, and in the 7-day work week sometimes, and the long hours and the things that we do and the travel, it all comes together, and I'm proud of the team there. Wow.
That's awesome, man. You're a great dude. I'm glad you were able to take time out of your busy schedule to meet with me today.
Oh yeah.
Consider you a friend.
I'm
glad I got to hear your side of the stories. Yeah. And man, I just wish you continued success and keep growing your business and growing yourself. So,
same to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Yep. Thank you.